Hey guys, this is Team Heart Life Captain Avet. I'm here with a bunch of concerned members of our community, the city council. We are going to put out a lot of information for y'all to enact on, guys. We're tired of everybody doing it alone, and we need y'all support. We need you to start blowing up those emails, blowing up those phones, and letting them know that this ain't going to happen on our watch, because if it does, our kids are going to be the ones to pay the price. Above all, they're not going to be able to have those futures, those memories and everything that we have lived on. You were born with, you know what I mean? So we're in a bad spot, guys. So there's a lot of important information for y'all to be aware of, and I will pay close attention and then follow through. We're gonna have a lot of links for emails and people to talk to. Whoever they can bring up that we can reach out to, please do it. It's very important.
Gotta bite. I think I got a lot of stress on my mind. It's a nice day to go. Yeah, I got a line. I'ma call the whole team.
Yeah, have you want to do an introduction for your video or no?
I think start with intro, like with Linda.
Okay, this is what's important, guys. Because this is going to a lady that's up in Boston or something, if you could tell them your name clearly and who you represent, if you're representing someone, then we'll go
And
into
spell your name, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just names and a little intro, or just a name?
I would do an intro too. Name, spell, intro.
Are you ready?
You go and you can go press it.
Hi. Press it?
No.
No, it's
You
not.
don't have to.
Okay, my name is Linda Reed, spelled R-E-E-D. I am a native of Corpus Christi. I'm fourth generation Corpus Christi and Padre Island. I worked for the Division of Sea Turtle Science from 2001 until 2013. Also worked as a volunteer from 1999 and 2000.
Good job. Hi, I'm Brent Chesney, C-H-E-S-N-E-Y, Nueces County Commissioner, Precinct 4. I represent all of the coastal areas here in Nueces County, Port Aransas, Padre Island, and so forth, and just have been a big advocate of the sea turtle program for a long time. Have spoken out in a lot of different ways about it, and trying to reach out to our congressional delegation and get them to be involved, and trying to reach out to our senators and do the same. We're just hoping that someone will at some point realize the situation that we're here in South Texas, and maybe this will get to our new administration in Washington, D.C., who are looking at federal government employees and help us determine what we already know, that we need a new director for the Padre Island National Seashore in Corpus Christi badly. We need someone who will actually work with the community. We need someone who will care about the community. And we need someone who care about the sea turtles, because people in South Texas are very, very passionate about their sea turtles.
Hi, my name is Jim Klein. I'm a former member of the Corpus Christi City Council. My last name is K-L-E-I-N. Former member of the City Council and Corpus Christi at-large member. I'm also the president of the local Sierra Club group, regional area. For the last 5 years, I guess, I've been in that capacity. And Jan and some others brought this issue to me a number of years ago already, especially concerns about this, as the commissioners mentioned already. This is an issue that needs to get resolved. The program needs to be continued. I will go on about that a bit later.
Okay, Nick Mayer, I'm a fisherman who uses the National Seashore and have fished it regularly for the last 30 years. And I'm a local business owner. The program and the cuts they're implementing will affect and have affected our business. The Padre Island National Seashore is a major feature to this town, and the way they're running it, I believe, is wrong.
Hi there, my name is Jan Robertson, R-O-B-E-R-S-O-N. I'm a longtime volunteer at Padre Island National Seashore, specifically patrolling dispatch and anything else. I became an advocate for the sea turtle program back in 2020, knowing that they were going to have a little bit of obstacle with the new superintendent, Eric Bruneman. Since I've been advocating to the city and the county for their help and assistance in the, I guess, restoring of the program. And we'll get into the rest of it later.
Hello, Hello, my name is Avet. I'm Team Hard Life captain for my fishing team. I'm also owner of Hard Life's Bait and Tackle. I have a YouTube channel called Team Hard Life as well. This is something that, again, with like Nick, is being a fisherman going down beach and being able to have access to public land for me and my kids to enjoy the way it was brought into my life, you know, is very important to me. And being part of the turtle program, you know, I heard about it, but didn't know about it until I actually went down beach and actually got introduced by other fish. Hey, this is what you got to do. This is how you watch out for it. These are the people you talk to. So it's very important for me as a fisherman, more importantly, as a business owner. So we're going to get deep into this, and we look forward to sharing a lot more information that a lot of people don't know about. So stay tuned.
Okay, Linda, I know you ran the beach for every year I was down there.
I did.
You did. And what do you feel the turtle program, happening to the turtle program, and the way the park is handling its volunteers and the general demise of what we knew the program to be?
Our sea turtle program is very, very important. The science that we get from the work with sea turtles that Dr. Shaver has done is immeasurable. She has been in the forefront of trying to save these turtles from extinction. And over the years, when I first started working at the seashore on staff in 2001, we had 6 sea turtles that nested on Padre Island. And that was the Texas coast from Galveston down to Port Isabel. Now that number is running into the 300 range. Dr. Shaver's work has been paramount in saving our sea turtles. Because she has been so diligent about this, she also enlists the aid of volunteers. Every season when there are baby turtles to be released, she had open releases, free for the public to come in and watch these babies walk out to the beach. It was a training situation for the public to learn more about these endangered creatures. Dr. Shaver has devoted 40 years to making this program a good program. We now have an administration coming into the park 3 or 4 years ago who wants to dismantle the sea turtle program. The sea turtle science, the learning situation for the public would all be gone. Not to mention, the turtles would not be protected from their natural predators. We're making a difference, but it takes a long time for it to be complete. Dr. Shaver has made this world a better place, and I wish that I could say the same for myself. There's nothing better to leave the world better than you found it.
You know, kind of a little bit of a different perspective in what can we do to help with this. Some of the conversations that we started to have is, we know that Eric Bruneman doesn't care about sea turtles. We know that he doesn't care about Don Shaver. We know that he really doesn't care about anything other than being a hatchet guy for the Park Service. So we can continue to sit around and gripe about it, or we can be proactive and figure out what to do. So we've already started having some conversations at the county as to what can we do as a plan B. Now, do I think that we should be doing this? No. I think this is what Padre Island National Seashore should be doing. It's what their charge is, one of their charges is. But we can't control that. So we can be glass half empty or glass half full. And so what we saw during this last cold stunning event was people came together and overcame what the deficiency that Mr. Bruneman and he charged with did. NOAA was out there, you know, the GLO was involved, the Park Fish and Wildlife was involved. So many different organizations that were involved with this. The Nueces County was involved, the Texas Sea Life Center was involved. So we've got a lot of resources here locally that I think we can tap into, and we've got to come up with Plan B. And how can Nueces County be a part of that? I think, you know, the encouraging part for me is that we, Scott Cross, who's our Coastal Parks Director, has a turtle permit. We're going to work on maybe enhancing that a little bit. The Texas Sea Life Center has a great facility that we can maybe partner with them and the Sea Life Center. And those are the kind of things that we're already starting to talk about, because I don't feel like we're going to get anywhere with Eric Brother. I don't think we're going to get anywhere with the National Park Services, and doesn't mean I'm not going to keep trying, and I'm going to not keep griping about it and try to reach out to the people that mean and can make a difference. But at the end of the day, we have to do something locally to do exactly what you're talking about, Bert, is to make sure that our kids have these sea turtles around and have a legacy to live, and to all the hard work that you did for all those years is going to be wasted if we don't do something about it. So we're going to do things about it in Nueces County, and we're going to do everything we can. Now, we don't have unlimited resources. We don't have the money like federal government, but we have the ability to connect. We have the ability to connect people that really care, people like you that volunteer, and the fact that Jan and Paul and others were fired by Eric Brunneman as a volunteer, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. I'm not sure I've ever heard of it in all my life, but at the end of the day, he's not going to change, and the Park Service doesn't seem like they're going to change. So the heck with the Park Service. Give a lane to Nueces County, we'll run it. Give the city court, they'll run it. They'll do it better than what's being done now. But we've got to do something, and we're going to come up with a plan to help these sea turtles one way or the other.
Yeah, I would just build on that. You know, I was on the city council just for a term for 2 years, but while I was there, the big issue that I had with this is that Corpus Christi is a gateway city to the national park, to the Padre Island National Seashore. It's the only way, other than by boat, it's the only way to get to and from the national seashore. So you have to come through Corpus Christi. And so the people, the thousands of people that go to the turtle releases, are coming through Corpus Christi. They're spending gas, purchasing gas here in Corpus Christi. They're staying in hotels, motels here in Corpus Christi, and houses here in Corpus Christi. They're going to restaurants here in Corpus Christi as well. And this is part of the National Park Service's mission, is that if they're going to change kind of work that's being done at a national park or seashore in this case, and those changes are going to have a financial impact on the gateway cities or gateway city, that the city should be notified about all that. Well, we asked Superintendent Brunneman to come and make a report to the city council. It took about 6 months, but he finally did last summer. And I was hoping that I could get the rest of the city council to kind of come along on writing something now, addressing this to the National Park Service, expressing our concern about this, because this represents a financial hit to the city of Corpus Christi. The reduction in the number of public turtle released from 20 to 25 in the past per year, down to just 5 public releases now per year, or even fewer than that now as well. And so unfortunately, I was not able to convince the city council, but this is something you can do. So talk about what we can do locally. Talk to your city council members. Talk to the at-large council, 3 at-large council members, to the mayor as well, Mayor Guajardo. Talk to your district council members as well. Tell them you want them to support a letter now to the National Park Service, or urging the National Park Service to restore the turtle program to what it was 3 or 4 years ago. Again, the 20 to 25 national public releases per year. Because, like I said, that's going to help to benefit the city of Corpus Christi financially. I'm concerned about the turtle program itself and the turtles as well as an endangered species, as I said, in the present local Sierra Club group. But I'm also looking at this from the city's perspective as well, and this is something we can do locally.
I'm coming from two angles. One, I'm very concerned about the turtles. I am a volunteer. I take the course with the park annually to get a pass so I can handle turtles if I find any in distress. And we do find them when we're down there fishing south, especially now the numbers have been reduced in the amount of volunteers that are actually riding the beach. So it's coming down to the fishermen and our right to access on that beach that we're going to be able to find these turtles that are in danger or in cold stun. You often find them. It's not a rare thing to see a large turtle laying on the beach that you believe to be dead, and then you go and look close and it's just cold stun and it needs help now. Now the trouble is, I don't necessarily think the superintendent is responsible for all what's going on. I blame the National Park Service. I think they're delinquent in their responsibilities of looking after the endangered species. The Kemp's Ridley, the survival rate under Donna's program, I believe, was 5 in 10, was it, out of every 100 released?
Oh, 400 out of,
What was the number?
400 out of 1,000.
So 400 out of 1,000. If left on the beach, they're talking
1,000 will die. Well, survival is, their rates are 1 in 1,000 if left on the beach, and 1 in 400 if left in intubation release.
So that clearly shows the program that they're successfully winding down is having an effect on an endangered species. Now, the National Park Service closed the condor program in California, the Blackfoot ferret program, and now they're doing it to the turtles. I consider it a responsibility of theirs for anything they do. Should make sure if I as an individual damage that amount of turtles, they would lock me up. It's wrong. The other thing is, if they start leaving turtles on the beach, they will close it to access. I promise you. You will not be allowed to drive on that beach. The people they had come down to study the program were from Florida, where they've got hotels all along the beach. They don't drive, and they want the same thing here. Donna and her program and her ability to write for grants was awesome. She flew to the Canaries to show them how to operate their turtle program. She's world renowned, and they've successfully shut her down. They make volunteers sign non-disclosures. What's this about? Them people work for us. We pay for that part, and they treat us like just terrible. Everything's top secret, and I think it's wrong that every meeting we go to is like there's this veil of secrecy. You're not talking, they talk with forked tongue. I don't like it, and I think they're a risk to the turtles and our access rights onto the national seashore.
All right, guys, y'all gotta hold me just a second. We are running a shop at the same time, so give me just a second so I can deal with this customer.
More than half the profits. So, is there anything you think we should say? I mean, that program they did in 2012.
Well, that's an important part.
That should be
Because
brought
they
up.
open up.
I mean, we were involved in that. They sent arbitrators from Denver. They were renting big hotels. I mean, we had several meetings with them. And in the end, we come up to an agreement. Maybe I should say that.
I think we should
Yeah.
say this.
You're gonna have to keep
You
going.
need information. I think that's very important.
It's not a great way to look.
All right. So with the turtle program, and like I said, as a young fisherman years ago, getting introduced to it and stuff like that, I really didn't see the impact as a fisherman at the very beginning. But as you start going down there, your 5th trip, your 20th trip, your 100th trip, you realize how important it is for that access to be able to help these turtles, because 9 times out of 10, I'll be honest, we find the turtles before the volunteers do, because they're on a schedule and they have to follow their schedule, and they have it timed out to best help them with the amount of help they have, the amount of personnel they have. And as the years now, you fast forward a few years with Eric Brenneman and the way the parks are handling this now, you see them less and less and less at all, you know, and now you're starting to worry, man. We understand how these turtles are gonna get, the predation on them is gonna really hurt their ability to continue to thrive in our local area. We have a lot of predators on land and in the water that will get to them quickly, and they'll start to learn this. And for us, having human intervention is extremely important, where they can pull those eggs out to increase that survivability for these protected species, so that way we can continue to work hand in hand with fishermen and turtle patrol personnel and stuff like that to ensure that we have open beaches. Because again, too, Nick nailed it. As soon as 1 or 2 of these turtles get killed, oh no, we gotta shut the whole thing down. That is their end game. Their end game is to have these guys out of Florida who want closed beaches, so that way they can monopolize on it. It's there. I mean, if you're not seeing that, I don't know what else to do. I can draw it out in crayon, but at the end of the day, that's what's happening. They are closing down the beach little by little, so that way you don't feel it until it's, oh, hey, guess what? You can't go today. What? It's closed. And that's when all the thousands of phone calls are gonna go out, but it's already too late. So right now, again, I'm gonna stress it. I'm gonna keep replying it, because if we don't, nothing's gonna get done. We need y'all's help.
I'd like to just mention the fact that in 2012, there was an extensive study done by the National Park Service on the viability of traffic, our access rights, and the turtle program on the beach. after it must have cost millions. They sent in arbitrators from Denver. There was all the top brass coming in. They were renting hotels, etc., for these meetings. And we come up with a conclusion. We're going to reduce the speed limit to 15 miles an hour. And also our access rights were going to be fine. And the turtle program was being continued as it was. Since that date, which cost a lot of money, they've now decided to do another one. And I believe that's already started.
Oh, yes. The
Yeah.
pre-scoping was March of 23.
And the pre-scoping, I believe, is like, how much are we talking?
Just 500,000 just to start it, and then another 100,000 for beach management.
Right.
And so right now, as far as I know, 600,000, but that doesn't, none of the studies have happened yet.
No. And their intention, I believe, is to show that they're leaving the eggs on the beach and they cannot afford to let us be down the beach as well. Really, what they should be looking at is how to protect them eggs like Donna did from the wild pigs, the javelina, the badger, the coyotes. They're all there. The survival rate of them turtles is going to be minimal, if any.
I think what's baffling to me regarding the, I got this one, the NEPA study of 2012, and the park agreed to the alternate alternative,
Right.
which was let's just reduce the speed limit to
Right.
15 during March 1st to Labor Day, which was a reasonable
Everyone
negotiation,
agreed.
you know, perfect. But what I don't understand in just 12 years, actually they started this pre-scoping back in 2021. So less than 12 years ago, what made the Park Service decide to re-examine this, and also what changed in visitor use or resource concerns in such a short term? What prompted them to do this?
I believe it was the almighty dollar. I
Well,
honestly
the same
believe that.
people are doing the
I
same
think
thing.
that they came in, they brought people in from Florida. They did not allow Donna to participate in that study. I mean, there's the world-renowned expert who worked for the park, and she wasn't allowed to contribute. There was people from Florida, I believe,
You're
came
exactly
here,
right, but-
and they told them what they wanted.
You're exactly right.
Okay, so there you are. That's enough to really piss a Texan off.
Piss anyone off.
I think one important part regarding this NEPA study, and I'm gonna quote Brian Kenner. He's a former Park Service employee, 32 years. He ended up at Badlands National Park, and he was Chief of Science and Resource Management at Badlands. He had a particular program, the Blackfin Ferret program. And I think his point, especially about the pre-scoping, if everybody remembers at that State Aquarium meeting, they are lumping 4 different ideas into one NEPA study, which to Brian, and he's an environmental species
Science,
expert,
yeah.
they should split them up. Easily the driving first, because that seems to be the main issue. Is it gonna cause a lot of controversy? Yes. But like the beach management and the sand removal and hurricane damage can be easily an environmental assessment, which is just a discussion. You don't need to have that involved in it. For them to lump it all together with the sea turtle program, it sounds a little
Right.
strange.
I find that the way the park has been run over the last 5 years, it's very restrictive. I mean, there used to be a road called the back road, right? They used to keep it clear for us. It was an escape route off that beach. They've not done a thing. I went and had a look at it last year. You cannot even get near that as an escape route. And that should be kept open.
It's an evacuation area.
Yeah, there's fences all the way along from the walk-throughs to the washouts, where my kids used to love walking back there. All the time this park has been, I've not seen one bird observatory place on that national seashore. They should have these. That should be, we'd bring people to this town. Bird watching is one of the major factors of visitors to this town in the spring. There's hundreds of them. That park could really do well from it, but it's bad management again. They don't want it. it's almost like they want to close it up and keep it to themselves.
I would just say this, I teach at a local college here in town, that's my day job. And when I talk to the students about this, students of all different ages, and I tell them that the turtle program is in danger. Everyone is shocked. Everyone loves the turtle program here in town, in the community here. It has a lot of support here, I think, publicly. And I want to bring up something else yet as well, an environmental concern that I have. Again, as I said, I'm the president of the local Sierra Club group. So they reduced the number of public releases down from 20 to 25 down to 5. Well, so I went to one of those 5 public releases. I had a brother-in-law in town from Oregon. He and his family came down for that. And because there are so few of these releases now, traffic was stacked up for about 4 miles to get into the National Seashore. So we sat there for an hour and a half, 90 minutes, 120 minutes, idling traffic. I mean, you're sending all that into the air, and you're not even accomplishing any. You're not going anywhere.
Jim, they're charging now for that. I understand. Where before it used to be free.
Right.
Now they're charging for people to go through. That's why you had a 4-mile queue.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so that's just not good. I mean, environmental. That's just not good for the quality of air to have that many vehicles all just sitting there idling, all producing all those emissions without accomplishing, not going anywhere.
Right.
Just sitting there for hours and hours. You didn't have that before when you had the multiple, larger number of releases per year. Last summer, Janet suggested this to me as well. We sent off a letter petition with signatures on it, several hundred petitions, names on it from people around the city of Corpus Christi here, to Shannon Estenos. She's the Assistant Secretary of the Department of Interior in Washington, D.C., and delivered those letters. Could not meet with her herself, but never received a response from her office. I think that's extremely disappointing. That they don't seem to appreciate the concern that we have about this program here, trying to maintain it. They're not willing to work with us to maintain the program in an effective manner.
How do we get these politicians more involved? I mean, have you got the key to that one?
Thank you. It's a really good question because this is not a Republican or Democrat issue. I mean, this is across the board. People in this area, they love the sea turtles, right? They love, for whatever your reason, whether it's coming from the Sierra Club's perspective or a volunteer's perspective or just a community advocate's perspective, or someone who's worked there forever, we all love the sea turtles. We all love this program. We all want there to be more involvement and more transparency. There's transparency from all these other federal agencies. NOAA, you know when they're involved, they'll talk to you. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife, they'll talk to you. These are all federal agencies that were out there working during the Cold Stone event that we had that prompted me to go crazy again and talk about this stuff because, they were out there. Nueces County was out there. The Sea Life volunteer, all these people were out there working. It's just one agency. And I think that's something we need to focus on a little bit here is we don't have these gripes about NOAA. We don't have these gripes about U.S. Fish and Wildlife. We don't have these gripes about the GLO. We don't have these gripes about Nueces County or the city of Corpus Christi. We have these gripes about the National Park Services and Eric Burnham in particular.
Right.
And we've made that point to our delegations and our legislators, and the responses have been, they look into it, but then you don't get a whole lot of responses, back in regards to, or it's, listen, and I know there's some separation issues where a U.S. Senator or a Congressman is not supposed to go, and get involved directly with somebody at the National Park Service, but they can sure talk to the agency heads about funding and holding their funding back, and there's other ways that they can involve themselves, because if you can't get a response from your delegation, then I don't know, we're hopeless, right? We get to the point of being hopeless because we need them to help us respond, and so that's what my message continues to be, is the common thread here, as whatever it may sound, are these sea turtles. You and I in this room may have different political views. Jim Klein and I do, certainly. We work together on the ones where we agree on, and we are gentlemen enough to disagree on things that we disagree on, and we move forward on the positive things, right? This is one we all agree on. This is kind of like when Todd Hunter beats on the windstorm insurance in our area. Everybody hates windstorms. Well, everybody loves sea turtles. Everybody, I can't find anybody in this community that says it's bad for the economy, it's bad. Everybody loves these sea turtles, and so it should be easy for our elected officials, our it should be easy for all of them to get involved, because it's like fighting windstorm. Everybody hates windstorm. Everybody loves sea turtles. So that's the message I keep putting forward is, look, we've just got to, but again, I'm coming back around to, I'm gonna, we collectively, but if I have to lead the effort, I'll do it. We're gonna come up with a way to help these sea turtles.
Great.
It may not be with the National Park Service because they don't seem to care. It may not be with Eric Brunneman because he doesn't care. It may not be with, with the situation we have now, but we've got to, as a local community, figure out a way to protect these sea turtles with the resources that we have and the resources that do care. And that's people like us in this room, and that's all those other organizations. I mean, from what I hear, I don't know if it's true, I've heard that people at one federal agency have gone to that agency and said, hey, give us your budget, we'll take the program over.
Right.
So this is National Park Services only. It is not all the other federal agencies who care and are involved in this. So I don't know, but we just got to keep beating the drum as loud as we can, but we've got to come up with a solution. And the Coastal Parks Board, I've already talked with them. They're a great local organization that their whole job is to, and you know a bunch of them. We talked about on Blake and other places. I mean, they're great people. Troy Adler and Bob Paulison and people that care about this community. They care about these sea turtles. Kim Winton from Port. I mean, great people. So they're going to sit down and they're going to formulate a plan, because it's their job as the managers of the coastal asset. I, as the commissioner and the court, we're the funding partner, and we're going to help them. But we're going to all sit down. We're going to come up with a plan. We're going to freaking figure out how to save these daggone sea turtles, some way, shape, or form, with or without the help of the Park Service, which we think it's going to be without. And that's a shame, because they've got that incubator that we need and we could all use, and they've got resources that we don't have that we're going to have to duplicate, and that's sad, because that's a waste of taxpayer dollars. And that's the one thing that bothers me more than anything, and anything I do, is when you waste taxpayer dollars. That's frustrating to me, and we're going to be wasting taxpayer dollars because they won't help.
And Brett, according to what you're saying, I agree with everything you just said perfectly. Is there a way, for instance, me and somebody else that's watching might like to, I personally have ideas with the county, what they could do very similar to what the park is doing.
With volunteers?
And have people, and also an incubation center, building one.
It's all about dollars.
With funding,
right?
But I have ideas of places to get it.
Grants?
There's one other place, but
sure.
I won't say it here.
Okay, that's fine.
But
I'm open.
Is there a way that, like me, we can go talk to Scott Cross, and do they have a roundtable meeting? Do they have a
the Coastal
public
Parks Board
answer?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. The Coastal Parks Board meets once a month, and they meet regularly, and I think it's a Thursday usually. And they have public comment sessions that you can go and make public comment, like any other Open Records or Open Meetings Act, and you can say to them, we have some ideas that we would like to share with you. How's the best way to do that? Scott Cross is absolutely someone we can put you in touch with, but the board is going to be who gives direction to the director. And like I said, they're all in. I mean, I'm just telling you, I can't find anyone who said no to helping on this issue except Eric Brunneman. And let me clarify too, the people that work for him do not, I don't believe, and I've talked to them because I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble, I don't have any ill will towards them, not at all. They're doing what they're instructed to do, or they're going to lose their jobs. This is not the good people that work for the National Park Service here locally. It is. I will point that finger at Eric Brunneman every time. He's the one giving direction. He's the one calling shots. And you're right, the National Park Service has a role, and he's got a boss. You're 100% right, but he's the only one he's the face here.
You have to hold somebody responsible.
You have to hold somebody, and the buck stops here. So he wants to be the hatchet guy and come in and get rid of the ferrets and all these programs, and that's what he has to take, and he probably doesn't care. So there's so many people in this community that want to help. We're going to figure out a way to do that. We're just going to figure it out. I don't know. I don't have a plan today. I don't have a solution today, because I never thought I'd be getting in the turtle business. I really, and we don't have unlimited resources, but people here want to help, and we're going to figure out a way to get people help.
Right.
I'd like to make one last comment. Our National Seashore needs to stay open. Since Mr. Brunneman came on staff, We have had more days of closure than in the history of Padre Island National Seashore. Mr. Bruneman, I worked personally under 4 different superintendents. They were very supportive of the Sea Turtle program. They were very supportive of the work done. And in a few short years, Mr. Bruneman is just about to kill this program. It's unconscionable that he would be so involved in taking away the good thing that we have in our country.
I got something. I'm about to drop a bomb.
Okay.
All right, so I've been hearing, and this has been going on for a while, and right now it just hit me as an epiphany. We're not getting through with Eric Brenneman, no matter how much we try to negotiate with him and this and that, because he's also being told what to do.
Yeah.
We need to find out who his higher ups are. Are they elected into those positions? And if they're not, then who are their higher ups? That way we can follow this chain of command to where
I
we can
promise
actually,
you, we've
Right.
been involved with all of them.
No.
And they
I can even name 'em.
continuously,
It's not gonna help.
You're losing. I've lost you already.
Okay.
Let me bring you back on board with it. So right now,
they don't care, basically.
They will if you vote them out of office.
I don't
That's
think,
what I'm getting
I
to,
don't know
like-
if they've, the people that are heading the park, the National Park Service, are not voted in.
No,
They're
but-
sort of employees, and we've dealt with all of them.
All the
And
way
they're
up the
not
chain.
all the way. They've flown in for meetings, and every time they've fobbed us off. I mean, literally, they have sent him here to close this program, whether they want to admit it or
So
not.
right now, I'm kind of bringing this up because the Trump administration closed off funds to everything, right? He shut off a lot of the parks.
Right.
A lot of the parks were closed. So there is somewhere along
Yeah.
the line that we can find somebody that is voted into position and we start holding them accountable.
Oh, Donald.
I mean, I'm just saying that if you go high enough up there,
Right,
somebody,
I'm with you,
somebody
okay.
is voted into
I mean,
that position. Let's
The
start
fact
calling
that we've
them
had pointed
haters
out,
and-
everyone loves turtles.
Yes, obviously.
You would think any politician would take that as a nice move to get a few votes. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's not going to be a few. This is, I mean, our channels are across the U.S., across the globe. We have that reach. And again, too, just because we don't live here, these vacationers come in, tax dollar or the tourist dollars are huge. They are huge, and that's what keeps a lot of our cities surviving in our shops.
Well, that was like Jim said, we had plus 20 releases a year, which would bring 1,000 people a time.
Right.
And we've gone down to 4 or 5.
Well, didn't they do a deal years ago talking about how much money would be lost every day that the park was closed? Was
Million
it?
and a half, I think.
Yeah, well,
No,
actually,
no.
the local, Corpus Christi visitors,
Yeah.
Bureau,
Visit Corpus Christi.
yeah, Visit Corpus Christi, they did a study with cell phones, and they can tell when people are more in town, when they're not. So for
Big brother.
releases, and then also with the amount of cell phones that were there, adjusted it per dollar, and it's over $1 million a year, just in a 6-week time, if that much.
I
maybe
thought it
month
was a
time.
release.
For the release,
Yeah,
yes.
so it's $1 million
release.
a release, not a year. So it'd be like 20 million
Yes.
plus
Yes.
a year that we as a community, gateway community, are losing every time that park's closed.
And that's why thinking about, people who are elected into office, I think ultimately it's Congress that helps to fund the National Park Service. And so we should be looking at Congressman Cloud. And I know we had this conversation, I guess, off camera as well, about there's some debate about whose jurisdiction this is, because the park is actually in Congressman Gonzalez's district. But since Corpus Christi is a gateway community, Corpus Christi, part of Congressman Cloud's district, stands to be financially affected by any reduction in those programs, the turtle program and so that's the office I think we need to hit to make contact with and urge people to contact Congressman Cloud's office as well. I don't want to give the local city council a pass, or the county commissioners as well. I think we have to hit people at all levels, at the city level, the county level, the state for that matter as well. They might be able to help out, but especially at the federal level as well. And then the 2 senators, U.S. senators from Texas as well, they should be concerned about this. They also have a say, a vote in how and when and to what extent the National Park Service is funded.
We passed our resolution.
Yeah, there we go.
Just a quick one.
There we have it.
The reason the National Seashore Turtle Program got put in place was because of an oil slick that hit the Mexican one, and they needed a secondary nesting area. Donna successfully did that. She turned it from, just
And
a
also
few
the
turtles.
unstable government
Yeah.
in Mexico.
Yeah, the unstable government, and they brought a few turtles up, and it's grown to over 200 turtles a year coming ashore nesting. So that's who we're trying to support and save.
However, though, they have not followed through on their end of the bargain. If I'm not mistaken, they have given a certain amount, but they have not come through and paid everything that they said they were gonna help out with.
Are you referring to Deepwater Horizon
That,
funds?
yes.
A lot of the money, well, I can say it, millions of dollars that was supposed to go to the state of Texas coastal areas for the environmental damage that was done from Deepwater Horizon money was rerouted to Florida to buy land, $4.5 million on the east coast, Atlantic coast, that wasn't even impacted by the oil spill.
Am I correct in saying that there were grants sent back? That Donna had successfully got
Yes.
grants
Two-
for this program, and they returned it?
Correct, one for 49,100, yeah, one, the
That's
other one.
pretty sick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Astonishing.
And I heard the $49,000 one went to Oregon Pipe Cactus in Arizona, because it was the southwest border, which is a no-no after it's already been granted to a certain, it should go back into the fund,
Okay,
but it
yeah.
wasn't. So that's a lot of stuff on the side,
Okay.
but yeah, the money, they took a lot of the money away from Texas.
Doge. That's all I gotta say. Doge means you hear in Corpus Christi to really get to the roots of this thing, because a lot of money that Donna fought for to get to the park, to keep it alive, to keep it growing. Her whole family gave up everything for it, whether they were paid or they didn't. That was part of the deal, right? If they took over it, that it would remain public land. That is correct?
No, it says clearly in the agreement, I think it's one of the first things, for the benefit of the people. And then it
Recreation
talks.
over
Yes,
conservation.
yeah, it clearly says that.
Unlike Cape Cod, Cape Hatteras, that's everything.
Okay, that's
gotta
it.
No, I'm good. You guys keep going. I just need to scoot. So y'all
can't
can talk
do
all
that.
you want. So, what?
We can't do that.
Oh my gosh.
gosh.
You don't need me.
All right, guys,
No need.
that's it. Thanks very much. I'm sure this will get your support, which we appreciate. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.